It says I'm live. It says I'm live. So if you are joining me and you are joining me from Facebook, YouTube, or even Periscope, please drop a comment so I can see them and let me know that this is actually working. Because if this is actually working, this is on a whole nother level. Okay. So if it's actually working, if you can see me, actually put a comment, because I'm going to flash your comment on the screen, let people know that you are here, that you see me as well. And I appreciate that. So I am going to give you all a moment to come on before we get started. Just waiting. Because I don't see any comments, like I really don't know if this is working or not. So this is my first time doing this. First time ever. First time ever. Oh my goodness. Ashley, it's working. Yes, I did just kind of do a little song. Hello, Ashley. Oh, shucks. Ashley, you can see me and hear me? Like the picture is clear, the audio is clear. You can see both of those things. Is this a thing? Is this a real thing? Is it working? Like, what's the audio quality like? Tell me, what is the audio quality like? Oh, wow. Well, this is a first. This is a first, seriously. So, wow, this is really awesome. I'm excited. Hey, Ashley. All right. And anyone else that's popping on, thank you. Ashley said, absolutely, this is a real thing. Oh my goodness. I am so excited right now. All right, this is awesome. Okay, so let's get into it. I want to say welcome to my very first successful attempt at doing a live broadcast in China. I have tried, especially when I first arrived in China, because I was doing a lot of lives before I left the States. Hello, Amanda. Greetings. Before I left the States, I was doing a lot of lives. And when I came to China, it just really didn't work out for me, because I needed to use a VPN. I also needed to use other third-party apps. And it just did not seem like it was worth the hassle because of everything that I was dealing with at the time. So I just let it go. Ashley says, I'm digging the studio. Oh, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about it today. So thank you, though. Without further ado, I want to jump straight in and go ahead with it. So for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Dr. Charity C. Campbell. And I am really excited and honored to be able to have this opportunity to share with you a little bit about my journey in traveling back to China, because, honey, it has been a battle. You hear me? It has been a battle. And so I just wanted to share what's been going on with this. So the whole reason why I'm in China, in case you are completely brand new to me, to my page, or to my brand, I am a university senior lecturer and a module convener, which is basically like I want to say it's like a department leader for whatever curricula you are teaching. And in this case, for my university, I'm working with the ESP. So that is, hey, Pastor Brandy, that is the English for specific purposes. And currently that is dealing with English for management. So I have a team spread out all over the world right now. And they're teaching the lessons that we are trying to help our students get, which is they're not compulsory courses. You know how you have like your main subjects that you have to learn in order to graduate, and then you have like your extracurriculars. Well, this type of ESP is considered to be an extracurricular, but it is something that the students have to take in order for them to progress to the next level. So that's a little bit about me with my university. But also I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur. And so I have 3 brands that are my own. One is my Dr. Charity TV brand, which is basically about millennial global leadership and being a multi-passionate entrepreneur, how to balance your multiple passions without losing your mind, and also just making sure that you continue to build your character in the correct way as a millennial leader and learn from the mistakes of our mentors and learn from our own mistakes as well. And to also help other millennial leaders, those who are younger and those who are following after them, help them to be better leaders. Because one thing the world is becoming short of is there's a shortage of quality leaders, and we want to make sure that we do not fall short of that. So that's part of my leadership brand. Also, I am a globetrotter. I absolutely love traveling the world, and I have a travel brand which is called 𝖸𝙁𝑡𝑟𝑒 the Explorer. You can check that out at any time you want to. It is at 𝖸𝙁𝑡𝑟𝑒 Explorer. I'll go back and I can, maybe somebody in the comments can actually type that up for me. Those who know what my page is or what my handle is, I appreciate that. And I will add that up there. But it's at 𝖸𝙁𝑡𝑟𝑒 the Explorer. I've traveled to 25 countries so far. And my goal is travel to as many countries as I possibly can by the time I turn 50. And I still have about a decade and some change before that happens. So I do look forward to that. So that's that brand. And then I have my health and wellness brand, where I am sharing my journey with health and wellness, fasting, intermittent fasting, of course, and alternate day fasting. And then also my lifestyle with keto. I used to be close to 400 pounds. And I've lost a lot. But then there's always, depending on the season, there's always those couple of pounds that go back and forth. Whether it's winter, whether it's, summer, fall, my weight just fluctuates. So at any rate, those are all the things. And I know it sounds like it's a lot. And that's what I mean when I say I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I have different things that I do, right? So thank you, Pastor Brandy. I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. 𝖸𝙁𝑡𝑟𝑒 the Explorer, thank you so much. So I want to share with you, now you know my reason for being back in China for my job, right? I returned to China on Friday. I landed in China on Friday, January 8th. Around 6 something in the morning. And I had all my tests done. Okay, I had all my testing done. Everything came back negative. All my blood tests, my blood work, the PCR test, everything negative, perfectly fine. And there was this long process to go through all the lines, and you had to be tested once you arrived in China at the airport, going through the lines. Blood work was done. I mean, like literally, it was. You think going through an airport regularly, it takes a long time. No, this was about maybe 2 hours, of trying to get through the line. It was a lot. And that was the first line. That was the line in the airport. Okay. Once you get out of the airport, you are basically separated and divided to go into go onto certain buses so that you can go to a specific unit where they're going to place you. The government will place you in a hotel, okay? A hotel for your 14-day quarantine. Now, 14-day quarantine is mandatory, okay? Mandatory. If you're still with me, type in the comments, girl, are you serious? Because this is just the beginning. This is just day one. So if you're still there, type in the comments for me, girl, are you serious? Whew. Okay. So we get there. We all of the people who are traveling, they get there and they put us in these um, rooms so that we can be divided and sent on our way to our sent on our way to our specific hotels, right? So I've heard, just because I've already been talking to some of the expats who returned last year to China. And, they were telling me, oh, no, listen, when you get here, it's because it's summertime, it's going to be okay. You'll be perfectly fine. Like, it's not going to be any issues. You don't get to choose your hotel. They put you in a hotel. So hopefully you get in a good one, because there are some hotels that you go to and they're bad. They're the Roach Fest hotels and all of that stuff. And I'm just like, good Lord Jesus, help me. Lord, help me get into a good hotel. I get to my hotel, okay, and it was a good hotel. It was a good hotel. And because I was documenting my journey, going on along the way, documenting my journey, super happy and everything. And on day 4 of being in quarantine, I get a phone call. It was in the evening. I will not forget it. I had just taken a nap. The Lord knows when you need to get some rest, okay? I had just taken a nap, okay? Okay, Amanda's still with us. I had just taken a nap, woke up to a phone call from the hotel doctor. And the hotel doctor was sweet, okay? The hotel doctor was sweet, and did her best to speak English, okay? So in broken English, she told me that I tested positive, and that it was probably no big deal, and that I needed to go to the hospital. And I said, okay, well, how long will I be there? How long will I be there? And she said, oh, no, just about 2 days, 3 days, you'll be back. No problem. About 2 days, 3 days, you'll be back. No problem. I said, okay, all right. So I left my things. Okay. I had already listened. Okay. Listen, I just knew I was going to be there only for the 14 days of quarantine. So I was making myself at home. Y'all, I got so comfortable. I had stuff all set out. I set up my desk with all my computer was out there. My iPad was out, all of my recording equipment, because I was going to do some work. I'm not going to be stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks and not do anything, not produce something. What? No, I'm going to get this work done. So I had everything set out. Y'all, I'm telling you, I have photos on my blog of how I had everything set out. I was just so happy. And just in case you don't know what my blog is, let me put it up here real quick. Give me a second. Just in case you all did not know, I should have had this already prepared, but it's 𝑑rTheExplorer.com. So, yeah, I had, I've been showing people, telling them, so they can see everything, they can see everything as they're following along my journey. So we have Dr. the Explorer, right? So super excited and happy about that. And I leave my stuff there. Now I take what did I take? I took my phone. Okay. I took my phone with me. I took both my phones, because I have a China phone and a American phone. So I took both my phones. I took my iPad. I took my recording mic, my podcast mic, and I took my computer, and I took my tripod, because I'm like, I got to get this footage. This is going to be great. Me thinking, I got to get this footage. This is going to be great, right? So I ended up being there for, and I took one change of clothes, because they said I was going to come right back. And the place was nasty. The room that I stayed in was so filthy. The bathroom was it was filthy. Okay. It was really nasty. I was like afraid to go in there. So I ended up, what was supposed to be 48 to 72 hours turned into 2.5 weeks. If you're still with me, I want you to type in the comments, no way. No way. Because that's what I was saying to myself. I was literally saying, no way. Okay. Type in the comments, no way. If you're still here with me. I could not believe what was happening. I couldn't believe what was happening. They came in, they were taking my blood. Y'all, I had so much blood drawn. It makes no sense. Okay. I mean, seriously, I had so much blood drawn. I had more blood taken from my body in the first 40 days, the first 40 days of 2021 than I have had in probably 2 years, 2 to 3 years. No lie. So we were there, me, myself, and I. We were there in the hospital on the day that we were supposed to be leaving, super excited. Y'all, I was like a little kid waiting at the bus stop, ready to go to school. I had my backpack on, like everything was packed up. Everything was packed up. I was so excited. I had my backpack on. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't about to leave. I was getting up out of this hospital. And, you know, it was a little weird because every time the nurse came in and left back out, she would lock the door. She would lock the door so that, you know, you couldn't get out. And I was like, that's okay. I mean, I guess they just really don't want anybody walking around. Okay. And so I'm just, as I'm telling this story, like I'm just now realizing I don't know if I'm ready to tell the whole story yet. So if I take some deep breaths, just bear with me. Okay. Because this is literally the first time that I'm telling it, since it happened. So, whew. Yeah. All right. So just bear with me. So the day that I'm supposed to leave the hospital, in my mind, because that's what was told to me, I'm leaving, 2 to 3 days max. That's it. The day I'm supposed to leave the hospital, the nurse comes in and, I'm all excited. We're leaving out. And she tells me to grab my pillow and my blanket. Why do I need it? No, me in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, she's asking me to take it because, she doesn't want to carry it. I mean, but you're covered literally in a hazmat suit. So it's not like you're going to, what can you catch? You are literally covered from head to toe. I have no idea what you look like. So, but I'll carry it anyway because I'm getting ready to leave. I'm okay. So we go upstairs, right? We go up the elevator. And I'm all happy and excited, y'all. I'm with my phone taking pictures and all of this stuff, like the day I'm leaving the hospital. I'm so excited. And she brings me into this room. Where I'm like, why is there 2 doors? There's like 2 doors in this room. What is this? And I'm looking around and I'm just like, okay, well, this room looks much cleaner than the other one, but I mean, if we were doing outpatient, we should be going downstairs. And she brings out all of these documents, and I'm like, these are documents for me to sign so I can leave out, right? She brings out all of these documents, and she says in Chinese, sign this, and she hands me the paper, and they're documents for admission, for it to be admitted. And I'm looking, I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not right. Let me make a phone call. So I call my colleague who is here in China. She's Chinese. So I'm like, can you talk to her? Because I think she has it confused. Like, I'm supposed to be checking out. And she's trying to get me to sign papers, to be admitted. And she's like, sure, let me talk to her. So she starts talking to her, and I'm just waiting, and I'm just like, this is clearly a mistake. Yes, Ashley. Ashley is like, wrong papers. Definitely. So I'm like, this is clearly a mistake, No. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to be calm and I'm going to be respectful because she's just doing her job. She's confused. She don't know no better. And so my colleague gets on the phone and says, oh dear. I hate when she says that. She's like, oh dear, I'm so sorry. But you have to sign the papers. You have to stay. And I'm like, no, I don't have to stay. They told me that I could leave today. They said I could leave. Like, it was just a false read or whatever. Like, you know how they give false positives. That's what that is. And she's like, they're not going to let you leave. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? She said, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I'm sorry. And so I hang up the phone and I said, I'm going to call you back. And I asked the lady, and so I bring out my translation app. So listen, when I bring out the translation app, we can have a full conversation. So I bring out the translation app and I'm just like, I'm supposed to be leaving today. I was only told that I was just going to be here for 2 to 3 days. It's going into the 4th day. I have all of my things back at the hotel. Can I at least go back and get my things? And she said, no. She said, you can't go back to get your things. We'll have someone bring them to you. No, you will not. No, you will not. You can't do that. You can't do that to me. Like, do you know how much stuff I have? Like, no, I literally left all of my belongings. Okay. I left all of my belongings out there. You can't do this to me. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to switch cameras real quick. But I'm like, no, you can't do that to me because, this stuff costs a lot of money. What do you mean? This costs a whole lot of money. Okay. So she goes to get out another needle syringe because she has to do more blood work. And instantly, y'all, I break down. Like, I was trying my best not to cry, period. But I just break down. Like, there was so much pressure that was already building up because of the situation. It was just high stress. And I broke down crying. And it wasn't like, a boo-hoo cry. It was really one of those cries where I could not stop the tears from falling. And I tried and I tried and I tried. And I think I scared the little lady. I scared the little lady as I was crying because she came and gave me this seriously awkward pat. She was just like, she was like, okay. And I'm just like wiping tears that's like just falling from my, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. So she leaves. And the thing is, y'all, I actually recorded because I said, I need to remember this. I'm not going to remember this experience because I'm going to block it out. Like, you ever been in such a traumatic experience that you willfully block it out? If that's been you, if you've ever blocked out a situation like that before, some type of trauma, put it in the comments below. Let me know I'm not by myself. Like, say I blocked it. Yes, I blocked it because that's exactly what I had to do. So I recorded some video footage of it. I just basically put the camera over to the side and just left it running while she was doing all of this stuff, taking my blood, just everything. And I ended up staying in the isolation ward for 16 days. 16 days by the law. Okay. It was required by the law, government law, that you had to be in quarantine for 10 to 14 days. And by day 10, when they tested me again, I'm like, okay, so we're getting all these negatives. You should let me go. Like, you should be able to let me go. That wasn't what happened. That wasn't what happened. They continued to keep me. Okay. They continued to keep me. Not only that, but they were giving me their medicine. And the medicine didn't do anything. But the good thing is my university paid for the entire hospital stay and all of the expenses that were incurred from the hospital and from the hotel. My university took care of it. So that was a blessing. But so while I was in the isolation ward, by the way, I don't know if I said this earlier, but there were no windows. And the 2 doors that they had were bolted doors. And so every time someone entered, whether it was a cleaning lady or whether it was a nurse, every time someone entered, they would shut the door. And then when they left back out, they would lock it. And I don't know, I started getting triggered after a certain amount of time of hearing locked doors. And they're not just like, like a little click lock. No, I mean like bolts, like a bolted door. And I'm telling you, I'm so glad that I had my family. I'm so glad, like, they were checking up for me. They were just, my mom and everybody calling me and everything, just making sure that I did not go crazy, because when you are left alone to your own thoughts, honey, in a dark time, Jesus, in a dark time, it can get really, really ugly. And so, day 16, I was released. I was so happy. I took a video of that. My release day, my exit day, super excited, happy. Tested the next morning and receive a call later that evening, saying, hey, you have to go back because you tested positive again. And Amanda, you are absolutely correct. Extremely traumatic. When I received that phone call, I don't want to say that I was in a state of denial, but I wasn't trying to hear it at all. It was 8:30 in the evening, a little after 8:30 in the evening, when I received the phone call telling me that I needed to pack my belongings. I needed to pack my belongings to go back to the hospital and start the process all over again, because I tested positive again. Y'all have mercy. If you followed at Dr. the Explorer on Instagram, you would have seen the video of me looking at the ambulance saying, I can't believe this is happening again. Riding in the ambulance on the way back there. This time I was not put in the isolation ward. And that was the thing that I was really afraid of. I thought that I was going to have to go back through the isolation ward. I had just gotten out of it from not being able to experience daylight sunlight in that room. No, I wasn't going back. I said, no, I'm not doing it. And my head of HR said, either you go back to the hospital or they're going to put you in jail. Either you go back to the hospital, or they're going to put you in jail. And I said, God, what is happening? Like, I heard you. I specifically heard you tell me this is when you need to go back. This is the time. Don't go before and don't go after. This is the time when you need to go back to China. I specifically heard you say that. Why is all of this happening? I want you to type in the comments, but God had a plan. Type in the comments, but God had a plan. If you're still here with me and you're not driving, I want you to type in the comments, but God had a plan. So I'm just like, all right. So I go back and I am frustrated. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed. I am like fighting depression. I'm fighting all of these things, like this, this inner dialogue, this negative self-talk, like going through it. You hear me? Going through it. Seriously. And I was just like, Lord, you got to help a sister out, because I am not going to survive this at all. So I was in there, and the third day of me being in there, I met a young lady. I met a teenager who had been going through the same cycle as my 20-something days. Okay, my 20-something days. She had been going through that cycle for 3 months. 3 months. So here I am, about to lose my mind, because I'm just trying to get to my city. That's all. I'm just trying to get to my city. And this poor baby, she wasn't even 18. Okay. She was 17 at the time. She was 17 at the time that we met. Ashley, exactly. She left Switzerland in November. So she caught COVID. She got COVID in October. Went through, she was medicated, went through her treatment plans, did everything she was supposed to do. Got approved to come back to China. Got to China in Shanghai, tested positive, and had to be hospitalized in Shanghai for 14 days. Then go through the quarantine for 10 days. And then she came to Xiamen. Xiamen is the city that I flew into. So she got into Xiamen and tested positive while she was at the hotel and had to go through the quarantine, okay, in the hospital, had to go through the isolation ward again. Then she got out and went to the quarantine hotel, stayed there for 13 days. So the thing is, you're there for 13 days. You get tested on the second day you're in the hotel, second day you're in the hotel, and you get tested on the 13th day. On the 14th day, if everything is clear, then you go back to the hospital to do the CT scan and everything else. And, they do your blood work and all of that stuff. And then if everything comes back negative, then you're good to go. And you can continue on to your next destination. On the 13th day, she tested positive. And she had to go back through the process all over again. And she literally stayed in this cycle for 3 months. Until she met me. So we're sitting in the same hospital room. Now, first of all, I was already upset. Yes, Amanda. Yes. And this baby is only 17. She's 18 now. So we meet, right? We meet. And she's telling me about this, and she's telling me how there are other patients who've been there for longer than 3 months. There are patients who've been there for 6 months, because at any point in time you test positive, you have to start all over again. There are people who have yet to return to their homes or go to their ultimate destinations where they were trying to go, simply because they tested positive again, and they're doing this process all over again. And it was at that time where I was just like, okay, Lord, that cannot happen to me. I said, I'm open to your will, but not that one. Like, I'm just like, listen, Lord, I'm serious. Like, come on, this is crazy. So she and I are having this conversation. And while she's explaining this to me, I'm talking about, so she adds me to a group, and in the group chat, like, I see all of the people who have, they're being tested and like just all the stories, and it's all in Chinese, but you can press the translate app and everything shows. So it's all in Chinese. And she's, she's telling me about the people who, they do nasal irrigation. And so we're just talking about this. And while she's talking to me about it, the Holy Spirit begins to speak to me and tells me, hey, you should check out doing nasal irrigation and do it before your test day, just in case there is a false positive. So I'm doing research on my computer, checking it out. She's doing a little bit of research, but she's really just watching anime. Like, she's a kid. She's like, I'm stuck here. Like, she literally lost hope of getting back home. And so I reach out to a scientist friend of mine, and we're talking about it because he's been doing some research studying COVID and just different practices and things like that to help COVID patients. And so we're talking about it, and he's like, no, you need to do a steam inhalation with mint leaves. I buy mint leaves that day. I start doing a steam inhalation. The first time it still came back positive with the PCR test. And I'm like, it's okay. I can keep going. And so once you've been in the isolation chamber for that 14 to 16 days, and you come back to the hotel, you never go back in, and they test you like every 2 to 3 days. So if your test come back negative, then you get tested again the next day. And if it's negative again that day, then you get to leave the hospital and go to the quarantine hotel. If it comes back positive, you have to wait 2 days to be tested again. And then they test you and then so on, so on. So hopefully I didn't just lose you on that because it's crazy. Okay. And so we start doing our steam inhalation. She uses traditional Chinese herbs, and I'm using mint leaves and these Vicks Vapor shower tablets that I bought from the States. Because I have sinuses. Yeah, I have sinus issues. Everybody has sinuses, but I have sinus issues. And so whenever they're acting up, like I know the symptoms and feelings. So that's why I bought those from the States. And so I'm doing steam inhalations and also doing nasal irrigations. And she and I both tested negative on the same day. So we both leave, go to the hotel, and I'm excited. And I'm just checking up on her, seeing how she's doing. And it turns out that her next test came back positive. I said, keep doing your steam inhalation. Remember that, just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Don't give up. Thankfully, my test continued to stay negative. So I had 12 days straight of not being tested that I didn't have to worry about it. But can I tell you the anxiety that started building up as I got closer to day 13 to test? Now that day 13 was like day 47 since I had arrived to China. Okay. 47 days. Okay. So I get there, do the test, and the way the lady did my test, it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And I know because I had been tested so much that I was like, no, you have to do it the right way because this is going to determine whether or not I can leave or stay. So please do it again. And she came back with someone else. Yes, 47 days. Amanda, let me tell you, it gets longer. It gets longer, hon. So when she comes back with her doctor. Okay, so she's a nurse. She comes back with the doctor, and the doctor does the test, and it's like all the way back in my throat. And so I'm like, yes, he did it correctly. Y'all, the test results came back suspicious. The test results literally came back and said, suspicious. I said, not today. Not today, Satan. Nope, not today. This is not happening. So I'm contacting the nurse and I'm contacting my university. I'm like, hey, we need to do this over again. I'm not going back to the hospital. Nope. Not coming back. It's no good for nothing. So I said, I'm not coming back. Nope. I'm not going back to the hospital. We need to do this over right now. And so they said, well, just you get to stay there. Because I was getting ready to have to, if I needed to pack up, let me know. At this time, little pieces of me started losing hope. I still I was still like, I got hope overall, but little pieces of me, honey, was starting to lose hope. Yeah, suspicious, exactly. So, as it happened, the very next day, I was tested, and I love one of my little sisters from Maryland. Y'all, she constantly tries to get me to move back to the States, and I'm like, no, no, unless you're going to write out a life for me to have that's going to be something significant. No, And so she's just like, well, I'm still praying for you regardless, y'all. This booger put her, she fasted, she prayed. I had several people who were like fasting and praying for me. And I'm just like, y'all don't know, like, you're just strengthening me so much. I appreciate all of this. And I just said, I don't know what's happening right now, but it's time for me to leave. Like I know when a season is changing and when it's time for me to leave. And this right here, it's time for me to leave. Like, I need to be heading back to Dalian. Plus the semester is getting ready to begin. So I tested negative the next day. Thank God. I posted a shouting video. Did a little praise break, happy, excited, everything. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it. You see, I still had to go back to the hospital for the remaining tests. Okay, I just want to make sure I say that. Oh, Ashley, go ahead and give a little praise break for a second while I plug up my computer. You guys can go ahead and give a little praise break real quick while I plug up my computer, because it's definitely not over. Honey, the story is not over. We've only just begun. All right. Give me a second here. Y'all, I didn't think my stuff was going to try to die on me yet. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. All right, if you're still with me, if I didn't lose you yet, let me know that you're still here. I just gotta slide stuff over to the side, y'all. So I tested. Okay, we got a little dance over here. So let me just tell you that I had to go back to the hospital. So everybody was excited. They're like, yes, you tested negative. You get to leave, right? And I'm like, no, not quite. Not yet. I have to go back to the hospital, and they have to run all the tests. So they have to do the CT scan. I mean, they're testing everything. Everything. Ashley says still here for the rest of it. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry that I had to disconnect. So they're like, nope, we have to go through this entire thing. And so here's the deal. When you go back to the hospital, and it's early in the morning, so you do the CT scan. They're checking everything, right? They're testing your blood and just everything. You need to get the PCR test, all of that. You have to stay at the hospital all day until the test results come back. If the test results come back positive, hey, good morning, Tamika. If the test results come back positive, guess what? You go back and start the thing all over again. You start the whole process all over again. I lied to you not. I live it. If this was something that was on TV, it'd be different. No, I lived it. Okay. So if your test came back positive, you had to go back to the hospital, start the process all over again with the hospital to the hotel, everything. It was literally ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, Ashley. So I'm going to tell you, while I was sitting in the hospital waiting, can I just tell you that the enemy really played with my mind? I'm just going to be honest with you. The enemy played with my mind. He was like, you got all the way to day 48 and you're about to go back to the hospital. All your tests, they're going to come back positive. It's just, sorry, you're going to go back through this whole thing again. And honey, when I tell you that there was this righteous indignation that rose up in me and literally opened up my mouth out loud and said, shut up. Not today, Satan. I'm sorry, you've been talking too much. That's not going to happen. I don't receive it. And I started speaking words of positivity. I started speaking words of hope. I started encouraging myself. I started listening to music that was that was uplifting me. And then I got back to work. So I started working on I started recording my next podcast for that week, podcast episode. And I was just like, nope, I'm not receiving that. And even though I kept encouraging myself like that, there was still like this little seed I know it was a seed of doubt, but for me, it was me saying, oh, I'm just being cautious. Like, I'm just being cautious, So in case it does come back positive, then I won't be so, brokenhearted about the situation. So I'm just being a little careful, a little cautious. But no, it was a seed of doubt. You can go ahead and type in the comments and say, girl, that won't nothing but some doubt. That was doubt. That was doubt. Because it was. It really, really was. And I had to really get myself, I was like, no, get it together, baby. Get it together. You are going home. You are going home. You are going home. And I just kept speaking those words of positive affirmation. Honey, when I got that notification later in the evening that said my test results came back negative, I was like, let's go. my ticket's already paid for. Everything's already packed up at the hotel. Let's go. So the CDC, I felt so special because I had CDC agents driving me around. I mean, when you have the ambulance as your chauffeur, that's special. I mean, in China, listen. Hi, Lauren. When you got the CDC on speed dial, huh? That's special. So I had to make light of it somehow, some way. So the very next day, the CDC comes and they're helping me with my luggage, my things. And y'all, I was carrying around. I had so much stuff that I had brought from the States, and so it was with me. And bless his heart, y'all, the little man fell over. He was helping me with my luggage, and he decided he was going to be super helpful and take the biggest suitcase. Y'all, that baby fell to the ground. That baby fell to the ground. And hey, good morning, Sheila. That baby fell to the ground. And when I tell you that was the best laugh I had in weeks. And it was funny because as he fell to the ground in slow motion, he said, "Oh God." I said, "Baby, let me tell you something. If you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't believe in God, you should have called on his name as you fall into that ground in slow motion." Ooh, child, that thing was such a blessing to me. So anyways, that was my laugh. I needed that laugh, okay? So, the CDC, they arrive in their special van, and, they're putting all of my things. Lauren, I'm telling you, girl, that thing was hilarious. So they're putting my things into the van, and we're riding. We're going to the airport, and I was happy. I was very happy because I was like, yes, I'm free. I'm free. But there was part of me that was like, baby, you still got a long way to go. And I'm just like, I don't want to think that way, because as soon as I can leave from Xiamen to get to Dalian, it's, everything is going to be back on track. Things are changing. It's going to be so good. Okay. So we get to the airport, and there's this long line. Okay. There's just this ridiculously long line, but because I live in China and China is so overly populated, I'm used to it. I'm like, okay, duh. We just go ahead and stand in a line. I mean, I've been waiting 49 days anyway just to get back to Dalian. So what's a long line? And because I had COVID already and tested positive, and because I was being literally ushered by the CDC, the CDC agents caused me to skip all through the lines and everything, took me to a special check-in line. And I get there, and I'm thinking that the process to check in is going to be simpler. It turns out it really wasn't. It was terrible. It was so disorganized. And I was the very last person to get on the plane. I actually almost missed my flight back to Dalian. And y'all, it was such a high tension experience at the airport. It was extremely, it was just way too much pressure on me, that by the time I finally got on the plane, I broke down. Okay. I'm not an easy crier. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. I'm not an easy crier. Most times it's when it comes to praise and worship, I'm a softie. Of course I'm a worship and I'm praise and cry and all of that good stuff. But just regularly, I'm not an easy crier. That moment, I couldn't hold it in. I was hyperventilating, and that had never happened to me before. And I didn't break down until I couldn't move my hands. I had never experienced that before. So I sat down to get on the plane, and always before when I'm on a plane and I'm getting ready to take off, I send a text message to my family. So I say, hey fam, I'm getting ready to leave. Like I let my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephews, like we have this family group chat. So I let everybody know, get ready to take off. I'll message you all when I land. And so I was trying to send the message, and y'all, my hands were like this. I could not move my hands. And it terrified me so much. I broke down. I was like, God, please help me. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. And I'm freaking out. I said, God, I can't. I said, finally, I'm sitting here on the plane. Like this should be a joyous occasion, but yet I'm sitting here and I'm breaking down. Like, just help me. And so I just put everything away, and I turned on a comedy. I said, I need something to make me laugh. I need to watch something that's funny, just so it can kind of take my mind off of some things. And I watched some really good, funny movies, got to Dalian, and was greeted by a government official in another van. And y'all, I rode in more minivans in the first quarter of 2021 than I have in the past 5 years, y'all. I'm so serious. I've ridden in so many vans. Van was waiting for me. He helped me get all my things, took me to the government hotel for quarantine. That one was mandatory, but it was only for 72 hours. That was crazy. And it was, it was very interesting. And then I had to go to my university hotel where they put me up for the next couple of days, and I would have to test. So we get there, I finally get to the second hotel, and I'm like, in a few days, I'm going to be back in my apartment. That's already it's clean because I cleaned it before I left, and I've been having the cleaning lady come in every single month to clean my face. Been paying her, and she sends me videos and makes sure that I know how it looks. Everything is great. I'm so excited and ready to get home. Y'all, you ain't gonna believe what happened next. You're not gonna believe. Type it if you can't. Type in the comments. Say, what happened, girl? What happened, girl? You're not gonna believe. I'm telling you, you're not gonna believe what happened next, girl. Amanda, listen, don't get me started because I'm doing good. I haven't cried yet on this thing, and I am. I haven't cried on this thing yet. I actually have not looked at the video footage yet. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I said I haven't looked at the video footage from the isolation ward and the quarantine. I haven't looked at it yet. I can't look at it at the moment. But yeah, if you want to know what happened next, say, girl, what happened? Because yeah, you ain't gonna believe it. You're not gonna believe it. While I was in the second quarantine hotel here in my city, okay, the second quarantine hotel here in my city, I receive a message. From my HR, and they basically tell me that the university doesn't want me to come back to my apartment on campus because I had COVID in Xiamen. I'm sorry, what? They're like, yeah, no, and the thing that I love and strongly dislike about the Chinese is that they're not direct. Okay, they're not direct. They're going to be suggestive. They're going to basically tell you what they want you to do in a suggestive form. So HR was like, you should move off campus. I want to move off campus. I got a free apartment right there. I don't already have everything is nicely laid out. I got my gym in there. I got my office, my bedroom. My kitchen is stacked. Like, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm all right. Well, you should move off campus because it's more freedom when you move off campus. Right now there are a lot of restrictions. I'm just like, why you keep asking me to move off campus? Like, does the university not want me to come back to campus? Yeah, they don't want you to live on campus. Yeah, they don't want you to live on campus, live in your apartment. So I'm going to send you some agents that you can contact to help you find a new place. I said, wait, what? What? Are you? Is this a joke? Like, is this because it's not funny? Okay, you know, I just went through 50 something days of quarantine, and you trying to tell me I can't go back to my home? Like I have to move? Like, what are you talking about? No lie. They said, yeah, we're just going to help you find a new place, but you need to find one before March 15th. It's the 7th of March. What? So here I am in another hotel, sitting here like, God, I know you got this one. You have to have this because I don't know what I'm about to do. I don't know. I said, I know for a fact that you told me to do this. So what is going on? I said, all right. I said, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill right now, and you gonna handle this one because where am I gonna go? What? And so she's like, well, don't forget that you also get the housing allowance, so that will help you with your bills and everything. So you just let us know when you find a place, and we'll go ahead with that. So I'm just like, good God, Jesus, help me. Long story short, on that part, I end up in a place that I didn't even look for. Okay, this is actually if you're following me on Instagram, you'll see like I've been showing you pictures and videos and clips of things of how I've been changing this place around a little bit, but it's literally the best place I've ever lived in, period. From when I was in the States, from when I was in Mexico, from all the years that I've been here in China, this is literally hands down the best place I have ever lived in my entire life. Okay. Amazing. And the view, every morning I wake up, I'm looking at mountains and the city skyline, and I'm just like, wait, what? God, did you really do this? Like, is this a joke? Am I going to wake up at some point and like, I'm still in the isolation ward, staring at bare walls and everything? Like, is this a joke? Every evening, I'm looking out at the city lit up. The most beautiful view you can imagine, whether I'm on the top floor or the down floor, because I have stairs, whether I'm on the top floor or I'm downstairs. I'm looking out there and I'm just like, what? Lord, what? This is crazy. So that's my apartment, right? Okay, God bless me with this amazing place. I will give a home tour once I finish with everything in a few weeks. Last week, 2 weeks ago, two Fridays ago, I go to campus. Oh yeah, God came through, Amanda. But just hold on a second. Sis, let me tell you what else happened, okay? I get to campus on Friday. Not last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. And I'm going on campus so that I can go get some of my colleagues' belongings because he's about to move off campus, right? He's trying to move off campus too, and he wants to, he's going to find a place that's out here somewhere, probably near me, because that's my home skillet. So I go to campus to try to get his things, right, so I can store them here, and I wasn't allowed on campus. So I'm like, this is a mistake. Let me show you all my codes. So I'm pulling out all the green health codes and trying to get them to scan it. And they're like, we don't need that. We don't care about these health codes. Like, where's your code? And I'm like, these are my codes. I'm showing the codes. And so they weren't accepting my codes. I called HR and repetitively until somebody answered and called me back. They finally picked up and said, I'm so sorry. Sorry about what? They said, we just found out that your access your access to campus has been denied. What? What are you talking about? Amanda, you still here rocking with me? If anybody else is still here rocking with me, type in the comments to let me know. Saying, girl, y'all. My access to campus is denied. So I'm like, how am I gonna teach my classes? How am I going to teach my classes? And the HR director calls me and says, "Dear Charity, I am so sorry, but we just got word back from the higher ups saying that no, Ashley, I'm not playing, baby. Hey, cousin Nikki. Oh, I'm not playing at all. No, not playing." She said, we just received the email from the university admin saying that you're not allowed on campus. Your application for access has been denied. And I said, well, what about my classes? She said, well, we are currently adjusting them to be taught online. I said, but you did the application like 2 weeks ago and you're just now hearing back. I said, I sacrificed a lot. You know everything that I have been through just to physically get here on campus to teach these students. What do you mean access denied? And she had nothing to say. She said, I don't understand it. I'm just so sorry. So me and one of the new teachers who we met up, and you know, he's walking around and everything. So he sees all what's going on. He shows me the code that what I was actually supposed to show them. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that code. And so he's like, well, let's go to Walmart. Let's go to Walmart. This sucks, but let's go to Walmart. So we walked to Walmart and we're in there shopping. And in my mind, I'm just like, God, what are you doing? What's going on? What is happening right now? And every single time I'm like, I know I heard you say come back at this time. Like, I know what hearing the Lord sounds like. I know I heard you say come back at this time. Like, I didn't miss you. I didn't miss you. So what is going on? In Walmart. And I'm just like, well, you know, hopefully it'll just be temporary. I get home and my director is trying to reach out to me. He's like, hey, can you have a chat? And I was like, not right now. I'm really trying to adjust my attitude. I just found out that I've been denied access on campus and all of my classes are having to be adjusted online. So he's British. I love British. They're so direct. Oh my God. He's like, well, can you talk later? And I'm like, yeah, sure, later. He's like, tonight or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Like, I'm not in a good mood right now. I'm trying to deal with my emotions. Let me process this thing. And he's like, okay, tomorrow. So a few hours go by and I'm just like, you know, Charity, what really is the problem? Like, I'm literally having this therapy session going on. Charity, what really is the issue? Like, why do you feel so bad? Why do you feel so badly about being denied access on campus? And it all boiled down to the feeling of rejection. Like, I can't speak for everyone, but I don't like the way rejection feels. I don't like to be rejected. I don't like to reject. I mean, it's not a good feeling. And so as I was working out those feelings, I said, okay, you know what? It's all right. I can go ahead and have this conversation because he is sounding like it's serious. So I sent him a message back, said, hey, all right, I'm good. We can talk tonight if you want to. So he's like, okay. I said, video or voice? He's like, video. That's not good, Charity. Like, in my mind, a video, that's not good. What does he really want to talk to you about? So he sends me the Zoom link. I pop on and there's never like chit chat really with him. He's just like, okay, there's no easy way to say this. And I said, wait, before you say anything else, no good conversation ever starts with, there's no easy way to say this. Okay, go ahead. So he's like, yeah, there's no easy way to say this, but the administration doesn't want you teaching this semester. I said, well, I know I can't teach on campus because, you know, I can't teach on campus because I'm denied access. So, you know, they're adjusting my classes to be online. He said, yeah, no. He said, they don't want you to teach online nor on campus this semester. I said, wait, what? He said, now, if you're like me, I want you to type in the comments, wait, what? I'm going to wait for that one. Wait, what? I mean, while he's sitting there, I'm like, wait, what? I'm literally looking at him like, wait, what? They don't want you teaching this semester. Why not? And he said, honestly, I don't understand any of this. He said, I have never seen anything like this in my life. Exactly, Ashley. He said, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like this in my life. He said, it's beyond me. He said, it's beyond me. It's completely out of my hands. Like, I don't understand. And I said, I don't understand what? He said, but you're still employed. I said, wait, what? Honey, sister girl went from wait, what to wait, what? He said, yeah, but you're still employed. Rejection and denial, but still employed now. He said, you're still employed. I said, okay, how does this work? He said, I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what's something that you can do during this time. He said, it's such a terrible predicament to be in. And I'm like, yeah, because you're trying to tell me the thing that I came here to do, I'm not allowed to do. And nobody is giving me a full reason why. And of course, we know it's because I tested positive for COVID in Xiamen. And yeah. So he's like, so this is what I'm thinking. He said, and you can tell me if you know you're interested in this or not. He said, but this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about maybe you can create some type of coaching program. He said, I know your specialty is in leadership and you really like talking about that. He's like, maybe you can kind of do something with the students about leadership or some type of developmental program. Nothing that's academic related. Like, you don't have to worry about that. And you know, you won't have to have like a schedule that's so stringent, like you meet with them all the time. You can meet with them whenever. It'll be done virtually, you know, he said, I'm not going to be hovering over you about this. He said, this can be your thing. You know, this can just be your baby. He said, but what do you think about that? And I sat back, I said, wait, what? I said, I'm sorry. And I told him, I said, I'm not trying to sound ignorant or anything like that. Like, I said, but you have to understand, like, I'm not understanding what's happening right now. I'm not understanding what's happening right now. Like, okay. He said, but this could be a really great opportunity. I'm like, okay. All right. So he said, don't give me an answer right now. Let's talk about it in a week or two. And just think about it. So I'm thinking about it, of course. And I'm still the module convener for my team. So I'm still, you know, making sure that they have their materials, their lesson materials together. And you know, that, but in the meantime, I kind of fell into a slight depression, because when you allow rejection and disappointment and everything to kind of really, really soak in, regardless of what the opportunity looks like, it's still something that needs to be processed fully. And as I was processing it, and I'm just like, Jesus, help me, good Lord, like what is going on? As I was talking to my colleagues, my cousin said, when you think you're being rejected, God has something better. Cousin, that preaches, okay? That preaches big time, boo. So I was talking to, you know, I told my parents about it first, and my dad called me late. It was his early morning, but it was late for me. I'm laying in bed, and he's just like, you know, your mom told me what happened. He said, but I'm telling you right now, it's a setup. He said, it's a setup. Something bigger is going to come out of this. It's a setup. You just be prepared. something big is going to happen because of this. I'm just like, Daddy, I believe you. All right, I'm going back to bed. Like, I mean, I was really in like a funk. My coworker, my coworker in Canada, my colleague, she said, honestly, I don't understand why all of this is happening, but don't take it personally. She said, everything that's happened politically with all of our, with my country, China, your country, China. She said, it's all political, not personal. She said, if anyone else had come in and experience everything that you did, they wouldn't be allowed on campus. They would probably be in a very similar situation. So just remember to not take it personally. And that's actually what I really needed to hear, because I was taking it personally. It wasn't my fault that I got that I tested positive. And then I started thinking, well, I could have worn gloves. I could have worn, after the fact, I was like, well, I should have bought a face shield. I could have had, people had on full on onesies when they got onto the plane. I didn't like how the plane was extra packed and everything, but so all of this stuff was going through my mind, and I'm just like, well, Lord, what do you really say about all of this? And so he was speaking to me through friends and through colleagues. It was like, listen, my colleague who I went to go get his things, he sent me a message on the day that all of this happened. And he was like, hey, I haven't heard from you. I'm a little concerned. I was like, I got your things, but just call me. So I told him about everything that happened. And he said, and he follows me on social media. And he was like, okay, so I see where it sucks, because yes, they humiliated you. They made you kind of feel like a fool because you did all of this stuff just to get here. And just to find out that you are, you don't even have access to campus. You're not even teaching. You're not even doing the thing that you came back for. He said, but do you realize that they are basically going to be paying you to do what you love to do? He said, I mean, just think about that. Like, they are literally paying you to create a coaching program and work on your own stuff too, from home. I was like, yeah, I know. It's just, he said, just think about that. Just think about that. And so I started thinking about it more and more. And I'm like, okay, let me try and create, this amazing program and do all of this stuff. And it was really overwhelming. And the Holy Spirit said to me yesterday, being complicated is done for you right now. This next chapter of your life, because of everything that you went through and you survived, he said, my challenge for you is to keep it simple. He said, my challenge for you is just simplicity and consistency. That's all I'm asking for you, Charity. I'm not asking for, matrices. I'm not asking for, these complex systems and organizational strategies. I'm not asking for any of that from you, because I know that that's what is comfortable for you. For me to create difficult organizational strategies and all of that stuff, it's so easy. It's fun for me to do, because for whatever reason, complications I can put that together, no problem. But he said, being simple, creating a simple program. That's it. It's just something simple. Okay, something simple. And if it's effective, even though it's simple, you have no idea what that will grow into. You have no idea what that will grow into. And so as he was speaking that to me, I said, okay, God, I said, I know that I heard you when you told me to come back, when I did. Going through, how many days was it? 59 days, Amanda. There you go. A total of 59 days of quarantine. 59 days of mandated government quarantine. 16 of those days were isolation and in the hospital ward, okay, with no doors, no windows, no mirrors. Yeah, I forgot about that part. 16 days of that. 48 days of being back and forth in the hospital. And then the rest of those days were just in hotels, quarantine hotels, government mandated quarantine hotels. And then finally being allowed to go out into the public. Yeah, without having a government official chaperone me. 59 days I was chaperoned and watched over by the government. And finally, I get out, evicted from a free apartment. How'd that happen? Like, you don't know how much I laughed at that. Evicted from a free apartment, but forced to come into one that is so much better. Forced to come into one that I wasn't even looking for, one that I didn't even, honestly, I wasn't looking for this level, this quality. Okay. What I was looking at that I really, really wanted was, it was nice. It had a beautiful view, but it was a fixer upper. It was a fixer upper. I'm just like, it'll give me something to do. I'm coming in and kind of fix it up. This one was moving ready. Didn't need to fix up anything. I mean, fresh paint, amazing view, like upstairs, downstairs, half bath, upstairs, just everything. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't looking for it. And the thing that God has really been dealing with me about is his timing. His timing. Had I not been delayed, had I not been set back, had I not had to deal with everything that I dealt with in Shaman, I wouldn't have ended up in this place, because I would have been able to go back to my own apartment, okay, on campus with severe restrictions, but my apartment, free. I wouldn't have ended up in this place. I wouldn't have ended up being denied access to campus, which in turn is creating this new position for me, even if it's for this term. So they say, even if it's for this term, wouldn't have been in this type of situation at all. I mean, his timing. And so this has all been just the first quarter of 2021. Y'all, this has been the longest year. My cousin said, trust in God, his time and not yours. Exactly. Listen, y'all, January, February, March has been the longest year. This first quarter has been the longest 365 days I have experienced. And I'm just like, this is just the first quarter of the year. Just the first quarter of the year. I've had so many people in ministry that I admire, and other leaders that I admire, they're not millennials, but I admire them. And they have spoken into my life, especially when I was in the hospital. And they were sending me messages. One in particular, Apostle Nicole, you guys saw the last time I did a live was with Apostle Nicole. It was on my personal page, but she had been messaging me and telling me that what God was about to do in my life required me to have some things to fall off and fall away from me, some things and some people to fall off and fall away from me, because of where he was taking me and what he was about to do. And that period in the hospital and that period in isolation really, really set the tone and the pace for what was to follow. And there's so many other people who, like my godmom, my mother, and my mentor, and so many other people who just kept speaking things into my life, saying, watch what happens this year. I'm like, this year is already come and gone. This year is done. The first quarter was the longest 365 days. I'm so serious, y'all. 2022 is already here for me. It's just crazy. And I'm just like, okay. And then I get in here and I get this amazing blessing that God allowed me to fix up and, create as get my studio together. I got my home gym together. Just all that crazy stuff. Oh gosh, she's talking about time to write that book. Girl, let me tell you something. Listen, I'm just trying to take a little break. Good God. All of this in just less than 90 days. All of this in just the first quarter of a year. And when I tell you that it has been transformational in a way that I didn't expect. I didn't see any of this coming. And there are blessings that come from survival. There are an obedience. Like, let me tell you, you can obey the Lord. He'll tell you to do something. You can obey him. And then at some point in time, like you'll be like, did I really? Did I really? No, I heard correctly, right? Like, no, I heard him. I heard him correctly. I did what I was supposed to do, right? Like, there will come times when you start wondering, I did hear, right? No, I heard correctly. They were like, yeah, no, I know what he told me to do. And you actually did it. And then it's just like, if you stand firm in your belief and you just continue to obey, no matter what it looks like around you, there's a different kind of blessing that's just waiting for you on the other side of that obedience. And listen, honestly, I'm waiting to return to campus, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. And not anytime soon. And I'm okay with that now. I am okay with that now because essentially I have a position, I have a job that I can do from anywhere in the world. And I will keep you all posted on what that is. But I'm also blessed to be able to work on my own things now. And I'm really excited about that. So coming in the second quarter, beginning in the second quarter. And for those of you who've been listening to the Leaders Lab podcast, wow, thank you. I've checked out the analytics and we're getting some traction here. We got some listeners coming in from all over the world. And so thank you so much for that. One of the things that I made sure that I did not do was stop producing. I did not want to stop producing while I was in quarantine, while I was in the hospital, while I was going through all of those things. Honestly, continuing to produce content was the thing to kind of help me to stay focused. You know, my word for 2021 is just focus. And continuing to produce that podcast, the Leaders Lab podcast, has been amazing. It has been so awesome. And so beginning in April, so that means next week. So not tomorrow's podcast. It airs every Wednesday, by the way. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Google Podcasts. Or you can also just go to my website, 𝑑rcharitytv.com/podcast, and you can listen to it right there. The latest episode comes out every single Wednesday. And so the thing is, I am going to try. Now, this is something new. Okay, this is something new. I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but I am going to try to do video podcasting starting in April. So next week, we're going to do video podcasts where it's only going to be aired on YouTube, though. Okay, the video podcast is only going to be aired on YouTube. You can go back and listen to it there. It's going to be on YouTube. So you can also follow me, drcharitytv.com/podcast, or you can also go to youtube.com/drcharitytv to watch those, or you can just also listen to it in the car, Apple Podcast. So that and just being consistent with my brands, and just we're finishing up a podcast series that is entitled Transforming Negative Self-Talk. That's what we've been talking about, is transforming negative self-talk. Very, very, very excited about ending this. We've been talking about the different types of negative self-talk, and at the end of each one of these episodes, I also give some affirmations to say and to use to help transform that negative inner dialogue into something positive. So I've really been excited about that, and sharing that with everyone. So you can continue on with that. And then in the month of April, we are starting something new. We're starting a new series. And so I'm going to be talking more so about balancing multiple passions. I've dealt a lot with leadership the first quarter of the year. Dealt a lot with leadership and building up your character, and also the way you speak to yourself as a leader. But in April, starting in April, we're going to be talking about balancing those multiple passions, like what do you do? What are some tips, some tricks, some tools that you can use so that you can, while you are still working your job, okay? Because some people don't want to stop working their jobs while you're still working your job, but you still have all of these other passions, these things that you want to work on. How do you balance all of those things without dropping the ball? And so we're going to be talking about that in the month of April. Just really excited. So thank you so much for sharing my experience of what has happened to me so far. And if you're open for feedback, like, or anything, you can definitely drop a comment. I'm looking at them right now, so you can drop a comment and I can respond any questions that you may have. Thank you, Amanda. Amanda says, thank you for sharing your experience with us. Bless you. I can say that, Amanda, as a result of this, more eyes have been on me now than before. And the eyes that I'm talking about are from colleagues and admin in my university and other universities as well, who, they've been following everything on the blog. And also I've noticed that younger leaders have been following me from all over the world. When I tell you, thank you, Cousin Nikki. She said, be blessed. We love you and are praying for you as a family. I have the most amazing family. I love these Campbells. Let me tell you something. I love you. So I have had people following me from Ghana, Zimbabwe, of course, right here in China, but also from Colombia, from Spain. I've had people following this journey from Kenya. I've had people from South Africa, Egypt, a lot of the countries that I have already visited, who, they're like friends of mine, but they are still in contact with me. I've had people following me from all over the world, sending in messages, asking me, how in the world are you able to be as positive as you are? And I'm like, did you miss the weeks that I posted talking about how I was going crazy and I'm fighting these negative, this negative, negative voices and things like that. And she said Ashley said that was one heck of a journey you were built for. It continued to be great. Thank you, Ashley. It's been interesting to know the caliber of people who are following me from all different age groups, and who are watching me to see, how I navigate and how I manage basically my emotions and myself and what my character is like during this time. I mean, it's, and I thank you for saying that I was built for this, Ashley, because honestly, I remember a time where my whole attitude would have disqualified me from where I am right now. My whole attitude, my disposition, my my pride, being cocky about things, like, saying, you better do this now or send me back and all of that stuff. And the way how God has me now has had me in a place to where I'm not saying stuff like that. Are you kidding me? Because I understand that obeying the laws of the land is another form of submission and obeying Christ. Okay. I'm not one of these people. And I don't want to paint that type of light. People already have a bad perception of Christians anyway. I didn't want to add to that. And so being a light in darkness was mandatory for me. Still is. Being a light in darkness. And yes, it was a dark situation. Honestly, I'm going to tell y'all, I prayed. I was like, God, please don't let nothing else happen right now. Like, unless it's something good, but can I get a break? Can I get a little breather? And then, I'm sitting in this and I have these opportunities in front of me and I'm like, okay, God, thank you for loving me so much. Thank you for being so gracious. So, yeah. Yes, Amanda, it is so important. It is so important. Like, And then also people who don't understand, people, there are a lot of people who don't understand you speaking in tongues and being all super deep and all of that stuff. Like, people come from different cultures. They don't understand that. That's not something, like, they're not going to understand that, but they can understand you smiling in the face of adversity. They can understand you still respecting people who are just simply doing their jobs. That was one of the things that I made sure that I did not do. I was so angry about having to be in the hospital again, be in the hospital the first time. And honestly, I was like, I kept telling myself, I said, Charity, you can't be angry at the nurses for doing their jobs. So make sure you treat them with respect. Treat them the way you would want to be treated. Don't be catching attitudes and popping and stuff like that. I mean, you can't even speak Chinese. Like, you speak like a little baby in Chinese anyways. So you can't be all, disrespectful and things. And I had to remind myself of that. Like, they don't know the Christ that I know, but they can see him through me if I maintain the right type of character. If I can be the light that is shining through, even in this situation where everybody else is about to go crazy and lose their mind, honey, it don't mean that you have to lose yours too. So thank you all. I am so excited about having shorter Let's Talk sessions and popping on. So Ashley, girl, I didn't think it was possible to be able to do this here in China, but I think that I will be. So y'all, the reason why I keep calling Ashley's name is because last year when I started back doing Facebook Lives, I always prayed and I said, God, even if it's only one person that pops on, I'm still going to show up. Y'all, Ashley was always there. I don't know how she did it, whether I did it, and I did it at different times, whether it was night, morning, whatever. And Ashley was always there. The one, sometimes other people would pop on and I'd be like, okay, that's great. We have more than one, but Ashley was literally consistent. So it's this, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If there's only one person that ever shows up to support whatever you're doing, show up for them as if it was 1,000. Show up for them as if it was 1,000,000. Show up for them, that one person. You never know what your words and what your presence and what your content can do for that one person. So as long as I can get this situation still going and rocking right, then I will be on. I will be on. She said, at work right now, but let me be present. See, crazy. Girl, get to work. I love you all so much. It is nighttime for me. I got to send a couple of emails because I do have teammates all over the world right now. And I got to get some other things done, but I love you. God bless you. Be on the lookout for some announcements and some big things coming in April 2021. So I love you. Thanks for sticking with me, and we will talk soon. Bye.